inevitable.
You have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
I'm totally Batman.
Oh, man.
Shh. Communing with the earth spirits.
Welcome to California, bud.
Cowabunga.
And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. We're continuing watching The Last of Us. It's time for episode 6. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, this is Prague.
Bienvenidos. This is Alexander Wolfgang. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Another week of apocalypse worlds.
Yeah, I mean, real life is kind of scary right now. I'll tell you what. Oh, you mean the show? I'm sorry, I wasn't too sure what we were talking about. I thought we were talking about America right now, but we're not.
Is
We're
America
Last of Us.
being all apocalyptic?
We're fine.
Right now?
We're perfectly fine. Don't
Okay,
worry about
good,
it.
'cause
Alex. Just
I
keep
don't
on
know
being
what-
happy.
Today was a stressful day. I already told you guys, but
Aw.
yeah, I know. Hey, if anybody wants to join in my GoFundMe, I lost my work drone today in the ocean, so... If you are in Solana Beach, California, and you happen to come across a drone, please give me a call, or just shoot me some money on PayPal. It helps.
It helps.
Anyways,
Yeah.
yes.
You had to wave goodbye at it.
Oh, yes, I did. Oh, dude, it was terrible. Some guy, I ran up to this guy. So, okay, the story is my drone fell in the ocean. Ran up to this guy, and I'm like, hey, did you happen to see where my drone landed? He goes, oh, I thought that was a bird. Like, I've never heard a bird go. Okay.
Sometimes pelicans do that, but not often.
That must be those Bay Area pelicans.
Yes.
Anyway,
Sorry about that, Alex. That's not
no,
fun.
it's okay. It's okay. But hey, guys, I'm looking forward to spending some time here with you guys and talking about some worlds being destroyed.
Yeah, The Last of Us episode 6 had some really nice drone shots in it, by the way. Just FYI.
Just a reminder of what I lost. Trevor, do you have anything for us?
I might, but I think we should talk about the show, and then
Okay.
we'll continue our spoiler-free to a movie about a destroyer of worlds. But before that, we do want to at least... What did we think of episode 6?
Gotcha. Okay.
Love the tease.
Nice tease. I like it. Solid.
Just a
Alex...
Do you want me to start?
It was a T-balled up. I appreciate it.
I tried to figure something out. Anywho, I'll go first. This
right.
was a fun episode, but you know what? It left me questioning so many different questions. One of the questions we may not bring up because we talked about it during the pre-show, which brought up a really good point. But there are a lot of other questions in this episode, and honestly, like I kind of like these feel-good episodes. For the most part, this was a feel-good episode. For the most part, it was a feel-good episode, and I did not mind it at all. I actually really enjoyed this one. I still say, like, after episode 3, I felt like the rest of this show is going to be an easy breezy show. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. I definitely feel the emotions, but it's not the same emotions that we've felt before. So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. I'll leave it there.
We'll see. It might surprise us in the next few episodes, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. All right, I guess I'll go next. I thought it was a good episode. As you said, kind of like a happier tone for the most part throughout this episode. There were some heavy moments, I think, but they weren't like heavy, like a guy shooting his brother and then shooting himself in the head heavy. Like we had last week.
Which they had to recap for some reason.
I know, like dang.
Twice
For
they
that.
recapped that.
Whew. Anyways, so there wasn't any of that, thankfully. Though there were some heavier themes, they just weren't heavy like that. So I appreciate this episode for that. It was definitely beautifully shot. Very world building, I think, is what I would call this episode. It almost feels like this episode was world building for season 2 of The Last of Us, more so than even continuing on the story that we're seeing right now, which it does, because you do get a lot of character development between Ellie and Joel in this episode. There were some actors in this episode that I'm big fans of. They're kind of like either like character actors or actors I haven't seen maybe in a show in a long time. So that was a nice surprise. We'll talk about that when we go into spoilers some more. And yeah, overall, I think I had a little bit of an issue with one aspect of the episode, but it didn't detract from the episode. Let's put it that way. So, but overall, I thought it was a really solid episode.
Yeah. I mean, I refer to this episode as heart to heart. There was a heart to heart talk between Joel and Ellie twice. One between Maria and Ellie, and then one between Joel and his brother Tommy. So there was just a lot of conversations where we're talking about deep stuff between each other. And it's really interesting. This show further is going down that path of we're going to take the major storyline beats of the video game and make it a really slow burning, dialogue heavy person of interest kind of stories about how you handle an apocalypse, rather than, oh my god, we're running from zombies every single episode. And I really appreciate
boring,
that.
right?
It might not be the show that people expected or maybe wanted, but it's a good way of HBO taking something where a lot of people, most people probably haven't played the video game, and to make the show for people where it's irrelevant if you played the game or not. That's what they did a really good job at. We've seen a lot of people try to make video game adaptations, and they're always kind of goofy, over the top. There's always just kind of hard to believe idea. This one continues to ground itself in realism, as realistic as you can get in a zombie apocalypse scenario.
Well said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well said.
And to echo Prague's point, just beautifully shot. Like, this is what happens when you shoot on location. You can just tell.
It's not in a volume.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, where are they at? They're in Wyoming?
They're in Wyoming.
Yeah.
It was filmed in Canada, apparently, this
Okay.
episode. But supposed to be Wyoming.
Very beautiful.
Beautiful, wherever it was filmed up there. British Columbia, I think, possibly.
Well, that right
Very
there
well
is our spoiler free. Let's get into some socials. So check us out over on crossthestreamsmedia.com. You can find all of our episodes, links to all of our socials, and everything over there. One other thing over there. You can leave a voicemail. So tell us what you think about. Yes, that's what Prague was doing. If you're watching on YouTube,
If it's just audio, it doesn't make any sense.
They're like, what?
they're like, why is he saying this? So yeah, make sure to check us out on Cross the Streams Media. Leave a voicemail. What are your thoughts on this show overall? I mean, we continue to give you our takes. We want to hear what you guys have to say. If you want, go check us out at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for updates on latest episodes and other fun stuff. And then go over to, oh man, there's a lot more. Go to YouTube, like and subscribe on YouTube, watch the videos, because that's always fun. We want to one day maybe monetize and make money off this stuff. It'll never happen, but it's okay. We can always dream. Go over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review, because that's also very helpful. And we just want to hear what you guys have to say about the show. If you guys are enjoying what we're doing, we like doing these week-to-week episodes. If you don't, then just leave a 5-star review and don't write anything at all. Anyways, just remember, all this is free for you. It's priceless to us.
Awesome. And so before we get to more mushrooms and Last of Us, we do, or at least I want to give Trevor's spoiler-free review of the week. We haven't done these in a while.
Back.
But a big movie came out this week. It made over $100 million at the box office, which was actually a step back for this company. And it's Ant-Man and the Wasp in the Quantum Mania. We talked about Marvel. We talked about all this movie for a while when we talked about different Marvel shows. We talked about movies coming in 2023. This was a big one. A lot of people were hyped for it. And online, there's been I would say mixed, even though now Rotten Tomatoes is at 47%, so it's not the best rating. It's down with Eternals, and I'll let you form your opinion on Eternals. And so I watched the movie, and I know that I was hyped for this movie, and it's a tough movie to review just because there's a lot going on. And I feel like the biggest problem with this movie is what people want it to be rather than taking it for what it is. And for me, I think it's worth your time. I think it's worth going to the theaters. It's fun. Are there weird things? Yes, they're in a quantum realm, which is a completely made-up existence. Of course, there's going to be weird things. It's not going to be, oh, I don't have the realism that this fungus could somehow develop with climate change and sprout out of humans' heads. It doesn't have that realism. They throw realism out the window. But it's more the balancing of scenes where stuff with Paul Rudd, stuff with Jonathan Majors is outstanding. Jonathan Majors is amazing as Kang, and Paul Rudd is as usual. Paul Rudd, he's really good as Ant-Man. It's more whenever MODOK or Cassie are on screen, the movie just comes to a halt. They just don't fit. It's tough to watch at times, and it derails from just... This movie is nonstop. There's a whole lot going on. You can see that there's a lot of inspirations from other films, and that's why it's so tough. There's some great scenes and there's some bad scenes. Taken together, it's a fun watch, but individually you could have and again, the climax is a type of movie where you want it to stick the landing. You want it to have... This movie's all about gravitas. Kang is a big deal, and they're trying to emphasize what a big deal he is. Mm-hmm. And then the climax of the movie kind of lands really softly, and it's a juxtaposition of the theming of what they're going for.
Boo. Well, it sounds like at least a fun movie.
But it's fun.
Okay.
You'll be entertained for 2 hours. Is it the best Marvel movie? No. Is it the worst Marvel movie? Not even close. I'd say it's solidly right in the middle.
So it's an Ant-Man movie. Gotcha.
It is. That's how all the Ant-Man movies have been.
Okay. I watched it. It was fun. It's forgettable. On to the next thing.
It is worth noting there are 2 end credit scenes. I wish I could talk about them. They're super spoilery. But the second one is one of the best end credit scene I've seen just because of what it entails.
Oh my god.
Nice. All right.
Okay, once we stop recording,
well, if you know anything about what I've loved when it comes to Marvel, this is a continuation of that.
I've been hanging out with you on here for almost 3 years, and I still don't know what you...
You don't know what my favorite Marvel thing has been over the past 2 years.
Oh my god! Why? You know what? It's
come on. It's low key easy to figure this out, Alex. Come on. Not that hard.
That's good.
Anyways.
Good. Oh my goodness.
We can talk about it afterwards.
Okay. Cool. Not too long.
So that's Ant-Man and the Quantumania.
Oh.
But enough of that. It's time for Last of Us Episode 6. And I don't know where you guys want to start. Which conversation do you think was the most impactful or touching or meaningful long-term for their dynamics or series going forward?
Well, okay, so go ahead. Proc, you go first.
No, I just want to say there's no fun guy this episode.
Not one?
Guy. Not one.
Which definitely was one of my questions. I was like, so... when I first saw them walking around in snow, I was like, you don't really see a whole lot of mushrooms in snow, do you?
You don't, because they hibernate.
Yeah, so yeah, I wasn't expecting, there was a piece of me that was not expecting that. Not expecting the infected, but they all kept talking about the infected. I'm like, how would they be able to survive the snow? If the fungus needs a higher temperature now to live inside humans, it wouldn't be able to survive in the snowy weather. So I was like, maybe that was on purpose, and very, very good on them.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, honestly. But something I thought about during the episode, for sure.
For sure.
It's a double just combining the idea of not having a population center so there's not a bunch of people, because getting infected people, you need people. When you're 2 states where there's less people than there are in cities in California, then there's going to be less potential people to be infected.
Which made for the beautiful scenery. There wasn't buildings ruining our scenery of the mountains and trees.
And the River of Death.
And the river of death.
2 rivers of death. The river Styx. That was a fun little touch. Man, what's the most poignant piece of dialogue?
It's tough.
I mean, I as much as I enjoyed Pedro's performance in the scene where he's talking to his brother, in the workshop scene, like that was a great, like just a great piece of acting by him. I preferred the one between him and Ellie when they confronted each other, because I felt like something a real father and teenage daughter kind of thing would have, especially like if you're doing, say, the trope of like a stepfather kind of a situation where you can tell they love each other and they're just really pissed off at each other. I thought that was handled really, really well between the two. So for me, I think that was probably the most important one of this episode and one of the best of the series so far.
You have to build their dynamic for it to matter.
Right, exactly.
I think
that was my choice.
And if I'm going to choose, I think the workshop one. I think having Pedro just say, I've failed every time. I failed and I failed and I failed. I'm failing even in my sleep. I can't even fall asleep properly.
That was tough.
Like,
yeah.
he's breaking down. He is crying. The guy is, I mean, his acting is becoming more and more just like, wow, dude, I felt it. I'm like, this is incredible. I would probably say that one because, yeah, they harp on it a lot. They show him failing a lot.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to fail again. And he doesn't want this girl he doesn't want her blood on his hands like everybody else's.
Right.
I can't. Yeah. I think that would have to be the one for me.
And just the strength to admit I'm not who I was.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing that we aren't really good at.
Yeah, for sure. Now the scene with him and his brother in the bar, not so much. I was like, Pedro, come on. Or yeah, I know his
either
name's
one.
not
It kind of went
Pedro.
back and forth in the episode. I'm like, oh my god, you guys just you haven't seen each other in a while. Make up.
Like, dude, he just admitted that he's gonna be a dad. Like, he's not gonna want to leave this perfect town. Like, this place is amazing, and you're asking him to leave for what reason and to go where? Why don't you just set up shop, dude? This is perfect.
Exactly.
Like, they are literally celebrating Christmas, dude. Stay. You don't have to go anywhere.
Yes, the show's Alexandria. You know, this is their place. Stay
Anyways.
there.
Trevor,
Speaking
did
of
you
that,
have one?
Well, just
of that,
the
yeah.
Alexandria thing. I mean, the whole thing had the vibes of the governor, and I was just so happy when they left. I'm like, they're just going to bring death and destruction everywhere that they go for every single episode. This is Walking Dead. And luckily, they just left, and this
Luckily,
town is perfectly fine.
God, Rick just brings death everywhere, huh?
Jeez. But no, I think it's the Ellie and Joel one just because they mean so much to each other, and based on the video game and how this episode ends, it's going to need Ellie to care a whole bunch to get through what she's going to have to get through.
Could be a tough few episodes coming up.
Yeah.
Winter is coming.
Oh,
Oh my god.
they should just put that for all of HBO.
We can't get away from that one.
Nope. Not with these two actors.
So there was a scene where they left the I don't know, were they indigenous people? I'm not sure what.
I'm pretty sure they were. I mean, they're both.
Yeah. I didn't know if they were, like,
known as indigenous actors. So yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if they were like Eskimos or any. I don't know why an Eskimo would be in Wyoming. I don't know if that's possible.
knows?
I don't know. But anyways, which that would explain our conversation if they were Eskimos in Alaska, because then they have whales. That would explain our conversation earlier, but they're not in. Never mind. They're not
Alex,
in Alaska.
yes.
They're not in Alaska.
They're not
Sorry.
in Alaska. They're not.
If you're in the
Closer
know, they're
to Alaska.
closer.
In Canada, where they filmed this, than Wyoming. But yes.
So I love that scene where they're in the cabin. Love that scene completely. It was very interesting and fun. Like, I like the dynamic between the two indigenous people, and then the way that they talk to them, how they're like, they were just so nonchalant about everything. It was just so fun.
About everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
It
You
was
made him
like,
soup? Yeah.
Of course. Why wasn't I? Literally, yeah.
I loved it. I love that whole scene. It was fantastic. But the one thing that really stuck out to me was when they left that cabin and they're walking, and they're walking across this big bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And or I don't know if this was before or after that whole
It
conversation.
was right
but
after, I think. Yeah.
yeah, so they're walking across this big bridge. Immediately in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that bridge is booby trapped.
That's what I thought too.
How could the bridge not be booby trapped? And it just seems like they were just kind of like nonchalantly walking across this bridge. And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
do you not remember your buddy, what was it, Bob in episode 3? Not Bob, Phil, Frank,
Bill?
Bill, thank you. Phil or Bill.
Phil
Bill.
Connors? Ned Ryerson? Sorry.
Remember
Places.
how Bill booby trapped everything?
Yes.
Like, all I could think about is a tripwire with a gun pointed right there, and you, boom, blew your head off. Like, how, just that's immediately, I see the bridge, and I'm like, that entire thing's booby trapped.
Yeah, they kind of subvert your expectations that way. You keep thinking stuff like that's going to happen, and it doesn't. And I've noticed that the DP will like allow a lot of extra negative space in scenes to trick you into thinking that something's going to pop up and scream behind an actor, and it never does. And it's really great. It's like a subtle way of like making you like be uncomfortable, but then you're not getting that jump scare.
Yes.
So I like
They create a lot of tension when they get to the college with the bamboo. They
Same thing, yeah.
that there's going to be a jump scare. It's coming.
So
and
quiet.
they never do the jump scare.
Oh.
I was like, Monkey's going to do a jump scare. Nope.
Yep. No.
No baboons. They just leave.
There's like, screwed, we're out of here. Sick of these humans. We thought we were all dead. What's going on?
Which
Damn
they
dirty
didn't really
apes.
explain why there were no people, unless they did. Did they explain why they left?
They
Colorado?
didn't
getting-
explain
heading-
why they left.
Oh, okay.
No, they said they wanted to go to Salt Lake City for some reason.
Yeah, and then
That's
Joel
right, there
guessed
was
it
a
why they
map.
Possibly could have, yeah.
Right. We don't know why. I'm sure there was a reason why, but
Gotcha.
who knows why?
Cool. So yeah, that bridge was just something that stood out in my head. I was wondering, was there anything that stood out to you guys?
I mean, the bridge scene was great because I've seen that bridge used in other movies and TV shows, and it's a great bridge. Good location, Scout there. But I wanted to backtrack to that scene in the hut in the very beginning because Elaine Miles is the one who played the woman in that scene, and she is one of my favorite actresses. She was in Northern Exposure. So if you ever watched that show, if you haven't, please do. It's fantastic. It's quirky and fun. But I don't think I've seen her in anything since then. So that was a shock. I mean, I knew that was her immediately. Like that was just the way she is. Like she's just this wonderful, amazing person. Like I think in real life, I don't even know if she acts. I think she just comes on screen and plays herself and is adorable, and I love her. So shout out to her. That was fun to see her. That whole interaction was fantastic. It was the one thing about this show that doesn't feel forced is the humor. It feels natural. Versus other shows that are dark that try to infuse humor to lighten the mood, it sometimes feels forced, or it's lewd or whatever. Like it doesn't quite feel right. Whereas in this show, like you generally feel like these are real humans. These aren't like, I don't know, characterizations of what a human should be. It's like, no, these are just real humans. This is how they would act. Not every day is going to be like, oh my god, I'm fighting off a zombie or a mushroom person. You're probably going to go through months of never seeing one. And they're going to go back into your routine. You know, they're the married couple. They know each other. Those are their idioms, and it's kind of fun to see that. So that was a big standout. That whole scene was fantastic. And
Oh yeah, I love that he was like, "Did you tell them the truth?"
yeah.
like
Would you like me to?
she showed me on
Yeah.
the map where to go. Did you tell them the truth? Yeah, I love it, man. I just love that there was like nothing seemed to bother them.
No.
Like, they had two random people with guns pointed right at them, and they're like, well, this is either going to be our time or whatever.
They kind of remind me of Rose and Bernard from Lost. The couple that are like old and they just don't care. Like they don't care about your business. They don't care what you're doing or what you're fighting for. Leave us alone. Let us be the old married couple that, you know, dies off in natural
the
causes
Howls
later.
The Howls
Yeah.
in
There you go.
Gilligan's Island.
Same thing. Just leave us alone. We're fine. You kids and your silly fireflies.
Fireflies.
The
That's right, the bug.
Firefly people.
That was fantastic.
That's way worse than mushroom people, man. Firefly people?
Oh my god. No, thank you. Why are your butts glowing? What's going on with you guys?
Anyways, Trevor, anything that stood out to you?
Well, I mean, I do want to give shout out to the good actor dog right at the start where he had to identify
he's a
if they were
good boy.
infected. He was a really good actor dog, and the horse was a very good actor horse. Like, he didn't even tie the horse up. He literally put it just
No, I
in
saw
the
that. He's
crook
like,
of the tree. And the horse is like, cool, I guess I'm chilling here.
It's my home now. I live here, I guess.
But man,
But
about tension in that dog scene too.
yeah, they focus on Joel's face really well to be like, oh, the dog's going to identify it.
Yeah, I was like, oh
He's gonna
god,
know.
it's not. Yeah, pick it up. So
But
well
when
done.
they
Well done,
finally
dog.
go and have the meal for the first time, and Ellie is just like chowing down on the food, and there's that girl staring at her. She's like, "What?" It was just so funny.
Right in her face. It's like City Girl. Like, what? Huh? The other girl's
I-
like, oh, I like that.
Don't know why that. I was like, I didn't care for that. Because it just didn't seem like, I guess, didn't seem in character.
I think it seems kind of.
I feel like it kind of is because she puts on like a false bravado all the time.
Maybe
Yeah,
I
she's
just
a
haven't.
kid.
I haven't felt like I've seen this false bravado. Like she's always been kind of.
When we first meet her and she's chained up, she
Oh,
literally
that's
is
right.
like
Okay, yeah.
antagonizing
You're
him,
right,
even though she's been chained up for like 10 days.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
trying to think of a
gotcha.
scene where she's not that. I can't think of one.
Okay, maybe I. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I've had a drink
It
or
was
two.
fun. It's okay. It was a good scene, and it's a good cameo for season 2. Anyway, that was fun. Yes, but on to the scene because we have Tommy and his wife that he gets to introduce to his brother, which was fun, played by Tara from True Blood. So it's
I
good
am
to see her back.
so glad that you said that because I saw her and I was listening to her voice and I'm sitting
And you
there
kept
going,
thinking, like, who is this? Who is
I
this?
know this person. I know,
Right.
and then I wrote down in my notes. I used to watch a terrible show back in the day called True Blood.
It wasn't terrible. It just sucked like a vampire.
Oh, dude, it was.
But it was
such a
trashy
terrible
fun,
show.
man.
It was trashy fun. That was the best
Yeah.
part. It was trashy fun. It was
But
so
anyway, she was
dumb.
fun in it.
Oh, but she was great in that show. And she
Yeah.
was great in this too. Like she's a great actor. And really I feel like you don't see a whole lot of her much.
Same thing as I said. This was kind of like that episode where I kept seeing these actors show up that I haven't seen in a while. It was really nice to see them.
Yeah. Well, they've
So,
been
thank you,
all
casting
hiding
director.
in they've been hiding in Wyoming all this
Yeah,
time.
they've been hiding in the apocalypse here. This alternate reality version of our own future.
Well, that'll do for all my notes.
Well, one part
we
that I
ended
thought
right
was
there.
interesting, like they had the whole Christmas thing, and then they go to the movies, and I'm like, it's really interesting. You can only watch movies up until 2003.
Yeah.
Everything since then was never made, so it cuts out a lot of movies that you would potentially watch.
They picked an interesting choice with The Goodbye Girl, which is actually a personal favorite of mine, but I don't think it's going to be too many other people's favorite movies.
I couldn't figure out what it was.
I didn't know the movie at all.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's kind of fun. It's cute. Marsha Mason's in it. She's fantastic. So
But also
little movie. Weird
keep in
choice.
mind there are thousands of movies made before 2003. So,
No, I just
they've
thought
got
of
a
all the
good
movies they're
catalog.
missing out on. Like
Right,
you're
it's all
just
the
watching
movies they miss out on.
classics, but
Yes.
it's just really crazy. All these movies just don't exist. It's
lot of
it's
stuff
fun
in
to
pop
mess
culture
with
didn't happen.
timelines,
Yeah. How does that influence you in the future, right? Like what?
especially because our society is so pop culture referential.
Right. Like what do you say? What kind of terms did you pick up maybe from these films that didn't exist? Are they using them in the show? You have to be, pay attention to
Oh,
that.
wow. Yeah.
I haven't been, but maybe I should. It's like,
I wonder
oh,
how much the writers have to think about, like, oh, they would say this like so and so does in
Right.
that movie. Wait, that movie never
wait,
happened.
that movie doesn't happen to them.
Interesting. Oh, that is, and I don't even think about that type of stuff either. So I'm glad that you brought that up. That just made that whole scene so much more fun.
Oh, I guess she would be the goodbye girl, huh? Ellie would be. So that makes sense that they chose that film. Never mind. All right. Now it's sad. All right. Anyway,
Oh my god.
I guess this episode was sadder than I thought. But hey, Maria's pregnant, so we're gonna have a baby. So that's exciting.
We're
Just 'cause
having
life
a
stopped
baby.
for you doesn't mean it stopped
Yep.
for everyone else.
That's right. I came here to save you. He looks around. It's like a perfect village.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I still can't get over that. Like,
When
Joel,
they go through the
dude.
gates, I was like, this looks like Winterfell. Like, straight up. And then they show it's an Old West. And I'm like, oh, this is Westworld crossed with Game of Thrones. Even
Right.
better.
Yes. Exactly what this is.
They got the backlot from Westworld, and they're like, throw some snow on it. Done.
Looks nice
Oh,
though.
that's
Looks
so
like a
good.
nice little place to live. I don't like the cold, but if I were to, that would be a nice place, I would think.
It looks like, I mean, honestly, if I'm in a apocalypse world, I'd love to be there.
I'm
That
choosing
would
that.
be the most. Yeah, I want to be able to watch movies. I want to be able to celebrate Christmas.
Especially
I
over
want to go
Boston.
to a
Ugh.
bar and drink whiskey whenever I want.
There you go. He's making whiskey and potentially bacon soon. So,
And they got heaters. Even though it's cold, they got heaters.
yeah.
But they live in a communist society.
They do. It's a commune, sir.
It's a
That was a
I
fun little
love that.
exchange.
I love that like the brother Tommy just like stopped in his tracks
Dead
when
stops.
he real
Dead stops.
he
He's like,
I've been here-
what?
He's been here for how long, and he just now figures it out.
Oh my god.
Joel, you want me to go where? Let's go.
Yeah, what? Let's go now. Get this.
Not like the
Oh,
commies.
oh, man. Sorry, Tommy, but yeah, you do.
Yeah, way to go, Tommy.
But Joel gets his sheep farm. Technically, he gets to visit it at least. That's his dream, to retire on a sheep farm someday. And Ellie wants to go to the moon.
Like
That was a
Saturday.
pretty sweet scene.
Yeah.
And I actually liked that he like fell asleep and she was there to
Watch
be
over him.
ready on guard. I
Foreshadowing.
thought that was nice.
Gotta love foreshadowing. Yeah. It was a nice callback too to when he was looking out for her in that one episode. I think it was episode 3. No, 4. It would have to be right after, huh? Where he was standing guard. So nice touch. Nice callback. Nice callback and foreshadowing in the same scene.
So one thing I do want to mention is Tommy has a board with the dates for Maria's child as well as Sarah, Joel's
Yeah.
daughter, and her birthday is July 20th, 1989, which is literally my birthday the year after it.
Dang.
And it's just weird to see it. Somebody passed away at that time.
Yep.
Like, I know there's an apocalypse, but just to see it.
And then you have to think about, like, okay, look where you're at now, and like, where would she be at now at your age? You know, what would she be doing? What kind of life would she have? And he kind of sees that, right? Like, he has that brief moment in that panic attack where he sees someone that looks like his daughter who has a daughter. Like, yeah, he could have been a grandfather.
Oh,
That was a tough scene.
weird. Yeah,
That was a good scene, though.
yeah, because she would have been what 30 something by that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very well. could have been,
Holy
actually.
crap,
Yeah.
man! Yeah, that definitely hits different when you really like sit back
Think
and
about
think
it, huh?
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
poor
don't
Joel.
like that. Yeah,
Yep.
she'd be 36. I want to say because wasn't she 16?
I don't do math.
Well, if she was
No.
born in 1989, I would say that she is 33.
There you go.
So she was 13. Okay.
I don't do math. So yes, I'll agree with whatever you guys are saying right now. Yes.
I was
that's
just
old
going
she
based it
is.
on my age. If she's a year younger than me, exactly.
Oh, there you go. See, that's easy.
Simple
That's easy
math. Minus
Much
one.
simpler, man.
I'm not gonna edit out that silence of us trying to figure out the math right there.
No, it's fantastic. It's also very late at night that we're recording this, everybody who's listening right now. So just
I
FYI.
And
Which
I
Joel's
wasn't
a
kidding
blessing.
when I said I was drinking. So
So there you go. There you have it.
So
Or-
the ultimate part of this episode is the end, which sets up the part of the game that is very challenging. So essentially, they go to the college and everybody's deserted, like we mentioned, and
There's no
these four
fireflies.
random guys who just come up and they're walking around this abandoned college for no reason, and they don't have any guns or anything, but the dude somehow has a baseball bat that he cracks it in half on a tree and then stabs Joel with the broken part of it. Like, I don't even know what to make of that sequence of stuff. Like, the bat shouldn't have broke on a tree. Bats, even if they're made out of wood, they're extremely solid instruments.
They are. It was
not even
interesting.
that. Like the way that Joel was holding on to it, Joel had him. His back was to him, and then he broke his neck and he fell to the ground. Like, how did he stab him?
It was during the fight, I'm sure. I'm sure it was in the heat of the moment. He probably didn't even notice it going in. He had so much adrenaline going through him. Because there was a point where they kind of collided together, and I'm like, oh, it was most likely at that point. Still interesting. I think, the video game aspect of this scene better. It's more dramatic, I think. This is one of the few things I know about this going before I watched the show was this aspect, and I was like, I don't know if I really like that change, but whatever, it's okay.
Because you have to take
You
Joel
got
out
stabbed either way.
so Ellie can have to now fight for survival by herself and just care
Pretty
for Joel
much.
in the winter. And she goes hunting for little bunnies, and there's a nice little cut scene
Cute
where
little bunnies.
the bunnies hop in and then arrow right through its neck.
That's the
Oh
other
my
thing I know about
God!
the show.
I wonder if they're going to do that on the show.
That's what this show
It's
is.
so iconic from the game.
It is.
I remember watching, like, it was a thing on Facebook or
It was viral
Instagram.
for a
There was a
It went
streamer
viral.
who's doing it, and she's like, "Oh, a cute
Yeah.
little bunny."
Oh, look
Cute
at
little
this
bunny
cute
blonde.
little bunny. Womp. Okay, so this is actually okay. Now I'm.
This
I'm
has to
tracking.
set up why Ellie's in that situation.
Oh
Pretty
crud!
fun.
I hope my
It's a good thing he taught
microphone
her how
didn't
to
get
shoot.
weird.
No,
You're good.
Okay, thank you.
But no, it's good that he taught her how to shoot that gun. It was necessary.
I don't know if he taught her fully. Like,
He probably didn't,
He-
but it's okay.
he shoots the thing. He's like, "You're doing it wrong. This is how you do it," and they leave. So
Yeah.
I don't know if she exactly learned it.
That's fair.
So for the best.
We'll see. See how she does. Just be creative.
So
Oh, man.
does Joel actually die?
Oh, we can't say anything, sir.
Oh.
You'll have to tune in next week
Come on.
for the further adventures of Joel and Ellie
for the
in
further adventures.
the end of us, as my parents call it.
The end of all of us.
The end of us, the last of us. So this is kind of like where I did have like the entire episode I thought was fantastic. I do think it is a great episode. It might end up being one of my favorites of the show, possibly. We'll see.
Wow.
Maybe not my favorite. I still think probably that Bill and Frank is probably going to be
Not one
the
zombie
best.
in this one.
either one of
You
those
don't
episodes.
even need. I know you don't even need
don't need
zombies to
them.
make a good zombie show.
You don't. But I did have a little bit of issue with some of the pacing there in that final scene. It kind of felt anticlimactic for whatever reason. I don't know if it was just me, but I
Yes.
kind of just felt like I knew this moment was happening, and then when the episode kept happening, I'm like, oh, it's going to happen this episode. Okay. And then it just kind of got rushed through, and I'm like, it didn't quite have the impact I thought it was going to have on me. So maybe that was just me. The acting was still great. I think, Bella did a great job in that moment, but it just felt like the editing was kind of quick.
They wanted
That
that
might be the only
cliffhanger
one.
so bad.
Maybe they
wanted
did. Yeah,
to
maybe they
fade
just
to
wanted it
black
that
with him
bad.
falling off the horse. That, yeah, I can see
They
what
could
you're
have
saying.
drawn it out a little bit more. Do something else.
I don't know
with
if
it.
it's because
I
I
don't
know what's going to happen if it changes it. Like, I'm waiting for him to be in the little like cot dragged behind the horse because Ellie's not going to be able to get him back up on the horse, and I'm waiting for her to make the
Right.
little thing and drag him around. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was just a weird pacing thing for me. That's all. Didn't like hurt the episode. I was just thought it was a weird way to end it, like that.
Well, and for people like me who have never played the game, it definitely makes you think. Okay, so if she did in this episode make a little cot for him to write in,
Mhm.
my brain automatically goes to, okay, he's going to survive.
Right.
But where they left it was like perfect, where I'm sitting here going, oh no.
Right, it's a good
He's
cliffhanger. I
done.
just said the pacing up to that moment was kind of off. for
Oh,
me.
absolutely,
That's all.
absolutely. But here's another clever thing: is at the end of the episode, they always do a tune in for next week for this
Right.
is going to happen. They don't show Joel once, so
Ah.
I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking, oh no, Ellie's all on her own, and oh no, Joel's dead,
Right.
and we all love.
Well,
Joel.
I mean, it fits with the show. I mean, Joel kind of fully fleshed out his character in this episode. Like he said,
Yeah, like
all this,
fully
like,
fleshed out, pretty much.
If
right?
they got rid of him, it doesn't really impact because keeping him around doesn't change the narrative either.
Right. True. Touche. They kind
Well-
of completed his arc, really.
He's got to go
Here.
be a dad on another show.
That's true. He does. Space Daddy.
He's got to be space daddy, not this cowboy daddy.
Space Daddy time. Oh, Mando is coming up soon.
That's right. Yeah, we just had Star Wars night at the San Diego Gulls, and I wore my
Ooh.
Mando helmet on the ice, which was pretty fun.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Sounds like
Anyways,
fun.
that's some Mando and Star Wars stuff for you.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys feel like you kind of missed zombies? Like a little piece of me was kind of like, oh, I kind of.
No, I think I
want to see
I don't
something.
know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting new characters and world building. I think I was okay with not seeing any of them.
I agree with that, but like even when they were in Colorado, maybe have just like an inkling of like a dead mushroom guy up against the wall, kind of like they did in the first episode.
Yeah,
type
that
of
could have
thing.
been kind of fun, right? Or
Yeah.
like hanging off a tree or something.
Like something where it's almost like the threat is still there.
right.
You know what I mean? Like I still
gotcha.
want that threat.
Also, I mean, everything was completely deserted. Like there weren't even cars abandoned. It was different once they went to the school. It just was empty. Like
Empty.
there wasn't any signs of infected. There wasn't signs of people who live there. It was really weird.
That's Canada for you, though. So
But I wonder how long it takes for the apocalypse to get to smaller cities.
yeah, I don't know. Or how that would look, and who would salvage what.
Yeah.
You know, what would that look like? Because people are going to salvage stuff to repurpose things.
Right.
Um,
But this definitely made me realize, like watching this show, if there ever was some kind of apocalypse, I probably would go somewhere like a Montana, or
oh, for sure. Yeah, we
Yeah.
I've talked about this with friends of mine that are like, preppers. They're like, oh, Montana
Yeah.
for sure, 100%.
Oh, really?
We're
Montana?
going there. Oh yeah.
dude, Montana's gorgeous. It's amazing.
Definitely go to Hawaii.
How
If you
would
can
get
swim,
there?
sure.
Yeah, you're gonna
I would
swim
love
You
there.
to.
need to swim.
How
How
would
are
I
you
get to
gonna
Hawaii
get there?
else?
Boat.
Are you taking
Yeah,
a
I'm
cruise
not-
ship with a tanker of
I don't know how to
gas?
drive a boat. Maybe. Maybe.
You
I
don't need
don't know
a
if I like the
full-on
ocean that
tanker.
much.
I mean, hey, if you know how to sail, man, good for you, dude.
If you know how to get by in the winter without heaters, all on you.
I don't know how
would
to
die.
get by in the tropics without air conditioner.
True, I
I'm
think both
dead
would suck
either
equally
way.
for different reasons. I don't
I don't know, man. Being in Hawaii, the one guarantee is that once everybody's dead, you're good.
That is fair.
You could
Unless you
literally go to
repopulate.
like the Catalina Islands, which is closer.
Not as tropical, but yeah, I get you. I get what Trevor's saying. Though.
Lot less people though.
I just
I
don't know
like
how
being
we get
surrounded
there.
by ocean rather than surrounded by ice.
I get it. I get it.
This is a good question for our viewers as well. Like, where would you want to set up camp in the apocalypse? What's your ideal location?
My house right here. Actually, so maybe it's because I'm watching this show right now, but
Yeah.
I feel a little on edge. Like
That a
I couldn't
zombie's gonna
s-
come on your door?
No, not that. No, it's not even so much the zombies. Like we said, the threat mainly is other humans.
Sure.
And I always, I'm always thinking, oh God, is someone ever going to break into our house? Like I've always got that in the back of my head, like someone's going to try and break into our house type of thing. And last night I couldn't sleep because I worked a San Diego Gulls game and I had a energy drink before the game. I get home, I'm going to bed, and I can't sleep. And then I hear a chain link fence, my neighbor's chain link fence. And I'm like, someone's jumping over that fence. and it's like 3:00 in the morning. So now I'm wide awake, adrenaline's pumping. I'm running downstairs. I've got a weapon. Let's just say a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a gun. Don't worry. I don't have a gun with a 2-year-old in this house, but I have an object that will definitely do some damage. And I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, let's just say it was a possum or it was a raccoon or something like that. But
Probably was, but yeah.
if there, it probably was. But if there was a person, I probably would have hurt someone last night. But then I went back to bed and I couldn't get back to sleep because then my adrenaline's just doof, 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 waiting for the next sound to chime. And I'm like, oh. So I don't know if it's this show that's putting me on edge, but
Might be the show too, yeah. Maybe you're
Yeah.
identifying with Joel a little bit too much than you should.
maybe because all he's trying to do is keep his daughter alive in the first episode.
Mhm.
Then he's trying to keep this other little girl alive. And all I'm trying to do
Definitely
is keep
not
my
my
daughter
daughter.
alive. Oh,
Definitely not your father.
so yeah, I think I can identify a little bit. I'm not as old though.
True. Man, it'd be nice to look that good at 50 something.
Oh my god, right?
And Tommy too is supposed to be in his 50s at this point, and I'm like,
Tommy didn't age at
Diego
all.
Luna does not look like he's
Tommy
in his
grew a
50s.
beard.
Yeah.
And long
Ah.
hair.
Yep.
Good for them. I guess. Hey, the apocalypse did good for him.
Really did.
Anyways,
Him
Well,
and his wife, man, they look great.
That's the tough thing about like the idea that we want to find a cure to go back and do what? You know, Ellie posed that question. That's the biggest question of the
did.
whole thing. Like,
Yeah,
we,
then
we
what?
figured it out. There's a vaccine. We're getting rid of. We don't have to worry about infected. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
The infrastructure of society is completely destroyed. The people who are left are
they're
we see what
monsters
they
on their
did
own.
in Kansas City. Yeah,
Right,
we call
they're
them
monsters
raiders
too.
now. They just go around and raid people. I don't know if we want those people doing anything or building our society around them.
Yep. And now they get this new opportunity, apparently. This new Alexandria.
Well,
Welcome
but that's the
in.
thing, dude. There you go. She posed the question. It's like,
Yeah.
well, why isn't she just being like, dude? Why don't we just stay here, man? Like,
I mean, obviously,
Who cares?
the bigger idea is that she wants to stop the threat for good, so they don't have to keep being on edge and on guard, and
none
The
of those
biggest purpose
people
for
seem
her.
like they're on edge.
I don't know. They came at them pretty hard and fast on those horses and ready to kill them. They've killed a lot of people. Remember, they all kept washing up all the bodies. So
All
I
right.
think they are. I mean, the people inside aren't because they know they're being protected by all these people patrolling on the outside. So
I want to be the person on the inside, nice and warm,
I know, right?
fat and happy, watching movies.
Yeah, I'll be the projectionist. I'll be that guy. Oh. But goodbye, girl. Again. All right. Well, here we go. Load it up. That's all we got.
Cool.
Pretend like you haven't seen this one before.
I don't
play
know
with
if
that
we have
video.
anything else, guys.
No, I think that covers it. It's what happens when you have a good show. I do want to shout out to Joel when he said everybody loves contractors, which is funny because
Oh,
there's no
that's a
reason
good
to
one.
doubt him saying that.
Yes, that was classic. I was what you call a contractor. Yeah. Everybody loves contractors.
Everybody loves a contractor.
That's good stuff.
Contractor. What a great scene. He's all
Cool.
being all down and everything.
Yep. So stay tuned as we talk about it next week. Who knows what's going to happen in episode 7? Does Joel survive? Can Ellie handle herself without Joel's help? Who knows? Until then, we hope you enjoy and we'll talk to you next time.
Oy. Frog out.
Adios, y'all. You
What?
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 was saying, I think you know. You played the game, so you know.
Oh.